Okay, so it's morning time here in Taiwan, and morning time usually means that we've had some rest. We've got a chance to um, step back and get a little bit of a relief and a release from our previous day's activities. And I don't know about you, but most of the time I'm not perfect day to day. So once I can go to sleep and then wake up again, there's a bit of a clean slate and a fresh opportunity to start doing the good things, start doing the beneficial things, so that I can have a blessed and wonderful and free mind and day. So uh, we've kind of built up a community here, a community that's concerned with Buddhism and meditation and the path to enlightenment. And this is a chance to keep going in that direction, and hopefully, to get that enlightenment that we're looking for. But anyway, to make a lot of blessings, so we can enjoy our lives even if we're not enlightened. Um, so we're going through some scripture, some teachings from the Buddhist world. And the Buddhist world and the Buddhist philosophy is kind of like the gold standard for spiritual teachings related to becoming enlightened. So if you want to develop psychic powers or chakras or different kind of magical things, then Buddhism may not be your gold standard. But when it comes to the path of becoming free, becoming enlightened, we do want to have space to listen to the Buddhist teachings and see what we can extract from that, what we can be informed of through the Buddhist teachings. And if you are here on YouTube and you haven't already, please do leave a like, leave a comment to say hello. And we're going to get into this study and exploration together, and feel free to ask questions as we go along with it. So this monk, Bhikshu Chi Tung, was in old China time, was a native of Xiao of Anfang. And this monk had read the Lankavatara Sutra 1,000 times. So this is a very big, robust, involved scripture or teaching from the Mahayana Buddhism. So he read this scripture 1,000 times, but he could not understand the meaning of Trikaya and the four prajnas. So that's the three bodies and the four wisdoms. So thereupon, not being able to understand this aspect of the teaching, he called on the patriarch for an interpretation. So a patriarch is like a recognized, enlightened grand master in the Buddhist tradition. So if someone is a patriarch, they're like a communal gold standard for understanding and experiencing the enlightenment or the teachings. So this monk, he read this Buddhist teaching 1,000 times, but he couldn't understand these certain aspects. So he called upon the patriarch. He called upon the real true Zen master for an interpretation. This is what the patriarch said. So as to the three bodies that we have, explained the patriarch, there is the pure Dharmakaya body, which is your essential nature, your true nature. There is the perfect Sambhogakaya body, which is your wisdom, your capacity to see clearly, to the insight, right? Your wisdom body. And then the myriad Nirmanakaya bodies are your actions. So in Buddhism here, this teaching is saying we have three bodies. We have our essential nature body, we have our wisdom body, and then we have our action body. So the body of our actions, the body of our clear understanding, and the body of our essential nature. So if you deal with these three bodies apart from the essence of mind, there would be bodies without wisdom. So this is saying that the essence of your mind, or the true nature, your real mind, is essential in dealing with everything. If you don't approach the teachings and if you don't approach life without having a connection or an understanding of the essence of your mind rather than the appearances of your mind, then there will be no wisdom. So the essence of your mind is paramount to wisdom. And so what is the essence of your mind? Well, if you realize the essence of your mind, then you will be enlightened. Okay? And so the idea in Zen Buddhism is that the essence of mind, everyone has that, right? That's kind of, it goes with the words of it, that the essence of your mind is the same if you're completely enlightened or you're completely paranoid, schizophrenic, delusional, anxious, completely lost. So the essence of the mind is the same, but some people do not see the essence of their mind or recognize that or value that, and some people do see the essence of their mind. So if you see the essence of your mind, the true nature of your mind, you're a Buddha, you're enlightened. If you don't see the true essence of your mind, the true nature of your mind, then you're an ordinary person, a common person. But the essence of the mind is the same for everyone, for all living beings. All right, so going back to the wisdom body, the body of actions, and the body of the essential nature of your mind, if you realize that these three bodies have no positive essence of their own, because they are only the properties of the essence of mind, you attain the awakening of the four types of wisdom. Listen to this stanza. The three bodies are inherent in our essence of mind, by development of which the four wisdoms are manifested. Now, we have to stop for a moment here. We have to take a step back here, because the programming language, the system of philosophy that our minds are operating under, most of us, is basically a McDonald's philosophy. It's a Burger King philosophy. It's a Amazon next day delivery philosophy. It's a prison industrial school complex philosophy. It's not a structure of the mind that's informed by or based in freedom from suffering, the intention to be free from suffering. So when we start to approach Buddhist teachings or spiritual teachings that have the intention of leading us to enlightenment, be ready to not understand things, because you're taking in a perspective and you're taking in a system to your system that is about ending suffering. It's not about anything else. It's only about ending suffering and becoming completely enlightened. So it's going to make sense that there are new concepts, new perspectives, new approaches, new backgrounds of philosophy that we may not have any exposure to. So we have to be willing to not understand to deepen our understanding, or to make use of what we can make use of. Because these teachings, this record, is coming from ancient China. You know, America is not a worldwide community of Buddhist monks that are doing their best to understand the nature of their minds and then become enlightened. So the culture that we grew up in is not the same as the culture that these teachings were given, but these teachings are about the essence of the mind. So what we're really doing here is a lot of unpacking. And to be able to do that, you have to be able to not get overwhelmed by your own trying to understand and speculating about what you're hearing, and be more open. to the hearing itself, so that maybe you can get the enlightenment through this. So the patriarch, the Zen master, said, listen to my little poem here. These three bodies of wisdom, actions, and essential nature are inherent in our essence of mind, by development of which the four wisdoms are manifested. Thus, without shutting your eyes and ears to keep away from the external world, you may reach Buddhahood directly. Okay? So this is a very, very important teaching here, because many of us, we get the idea, oh, I need to become a monk. Oh, I need to get rid of my smartphone. Oh, I need to spend the rest of my life living in the forest. Oh, I need to drink a bunch of ayahuasca. Oh, I need to do this, I need to do that. Because we are seeking some kind of idealized way to get the enlightenment or to get the freedom from suffering. But in this poem, in this teaching from this Zen master, it's saying that these three bodies of pure actions, wisdom, and the true nature of the mind, okay, these are inherent in the essence of the mind. So that wisdom and pure actions and the enlightenment experience is inherent in the essence of your mind. So all of the suffering and confusion and negativity is actually arising from and is not separate from that enlightenment nature. So it's saying here that because of that, without shutting your eyes and ears to keep away from the external world, so without trying to reject all of these things that you're involved with, without trying to get rid of your mind and get rid of your life and get rid of your suffering, without having to try and do that, you may reach Buddhahood directly, meaning that you may open your eyes here and now to see the Buddha knowledge, which is not something intellectual or conceptual, but is beyond the notion of self immediately. And why can you do that without shutting your eyes and ears to the world or going off into the forest to become a monk? Because that Buddha mind is not outside of the essence of your mind as it already is. The master continues, now that I have made this plain to you, believe it firmly, and you will be free from delusions forever. Follow not those who seek enlightenment from without. So follow not those who seek enlightenment from outside or through special practices and special gradual trainings. But rather, these people talk about awakening all the time, but they never find it. All right, now this monk comes in and asks a question again. May I know something about the four prajnas, these four wisdoms? Asked Chitung. If you understand the three bodies, replied the patriarch, you should understand the four prajnas as well. So your question is unnecessary. So this unnecessariness of a lot of our questions is based in our understanding of everything that we need and everything that we want being inherent in the essence of our mind. So that what is longed for is already here. What is deeply longed for, that enlightenment, that freedom from suffering, that liberation, is already here. So if you understand the three bodies from this perspective, then you should naturally understand the four types of wisdom as well. So your question is unnecessary. Now, if you deal with these four types of wisdoms, which we don't yet know what they are, apart from the three bodies, there will be wisdom without bodies, in which case they would not be wisdoms. The patriarch then uttered another stanza. And if you think this is difficult to take in and to digest without being able to speculate about it and to understand it conceptually, wait till you start to face the habit energies in your own mind. because we can't understand the muscle fibers in our body intellectually. We can't understand our neuropsychology intellectually. So this is explicitly, a part of this is explicitly to drop intellectual understanding. The mirror-like wisdom is pure by nature. The equality wisdom frees the mind from all impediments. The all-discerning wisdom sees things intuitively without going through the process of reasoning. The all-performing wisdom has the same characteristics as the mirror-like wisdom. This is the teaching of the Buddha. This is the enlightened spiritual teaching straight from the source. The source of the essence of your own mind. You may want to think about it like this. You are someone who wants to use a mirror. You want to use a mirror. And you come across a mirror. You're now face to face with a mirror. This mind, this reality, your life, is a mirror that is clear and pristine and exacting, one-to-one, right here and now. Your mind, reality is just like a mirror. So in wanting to use the mirror, you miss the clarity that is already here and now. So it is said here that this mirror-like wisdom is pure by nature. This experience of reality as it is here and now is pure by nature. So that everything here, everything that is being experienced right now is pure, is complete, is already what's being searched for. The desire beyond your highest desire, you've already got it. Only there's no you in it. Just in the same way that there's not another you in the mirror. So the confusion of self, the confusion of you being a separate person or a separate identity, separate from everything else, is the same confusion as looking in the mirror and thinking that that is someone else. You, if you are anything, are mirror-like wisdom, effervescently expressing here and now. So the mirror-like wisdom, or seeing things as they are here and now, just like if you were to see yourself in a mirror here and now, is pure by nature. It's already pure. It's already finished. It's already complete. These are the four types of wisdom. The equality wisdom frees the mind from all impediments. So what is that equality wisdom? It means it is the wisdom that this is not better than this. That pleasant sensations in the body are not better than painful sensations in the body. That this version of you is not better or worse than that version of you. So this is the equality wisdom. This is seeing through the fog of better and worse. And when you can see through the fog of better and worse, this equality wisdom frees the mind from all impediments, all barriers. So when we try to practice meditation, for example, because we think that's good to do and that will bring us benefit, we feel that this experience in the body is worse than that experience in the body. And so now we're in a state of conflict. And that conflict is an impediment. It's a barrier for us penetrating into the essence of the mind, to seeing our own mind. Third type of wisdom, the all discerning wisdom sees things intuitively without going through the process of reasoning. So this all discerning wisdom can see things as they are without speculating about them, without needing to fall back or rely on secondary or tertiary thinking. That this is as it is, and I can see it as it is and use it as it is used for. So this all-discerning wisdom doesn't think to eat this, not because of reasoning, not because of thinking, but because of clear seeing, intuitiveness. And what so many people have lost in the West, so many human beings have lost in the West because of our constant barrage of advertising from Coca-Cola and Marlboro and Wall Street and all kinds of social justice things that have been pushed out. We've lost the relationship with our gut. We've lost the relationship with our intuition. And that means that we're always trying to see things and understand things and work with things from this place of reasoning, of complicated thinking. And that doesn't allow us to connect with making use of what is available here and now. And that's what's most important. This is serious, serious, serious stuff. W's in the chat, everybody. Tap on that screen. Leave a like. This is really, really serious. This is really, really important. W's in the chat. Leave a like. Share this video with your grandma in Tucson. Your grandma in Tucson needs to learn about Buddhism. She needs to learn about meditation. Put W's in the chat. We're talking about the ultimate nature of reality. We're talking about going beyond barriers. We're talking about going beyond suffering. We're talking about going into the universal spectrum of all things as they are right here, right now. We're talking about Buddha is him. Buddha is the OG. Buddha is Himothy. Leave a like in the chat, put W's in the chat, leave a like on the side, share this video with your grandma in Arizona and say, Grandma, I'm a Buddhist now. And this is the stuff that I'm involved with, and this is the stuff that I'm doing. And I'm serious about it. W's in the chat, leave a like, get hyped, get ready, because this isn't going to stop. Subscribe, share, like, all of it. Everything from top to bottom. Now listen to this. The all-performing wisdom has the same characteristics as the mirror-like wisdom. What that means is that there is a wisdom, there is a powerful understanding in seeing things the way that they are right now that's not based on thinking. This is also called seeing with your own eyes, hearing with your own ears, breathing with your own lungs in a way that's not about conceptual thinking. It's not about thoughts, about thoughts, about thoughts. This is the way to get out of the trap, the way to get out of the suffering, the way to get out of the greed, the anger, the delusion, the depression, the anxiety, all that stuff. Now be very, very careful about what you say in this chat, because you may not understand this teaching. So it says, the mirror-like wisdom is pure by nature. So the way that things are right here and now already, without thinking about it, is pure by nature. And in the same way, the all-performing wisdom, so all of the actions of wisdom, have the same characteristics as the mirror-like wisdom. Meaning that all our actions, we think that our actions are happening according to a self, according to a story about this body and this mind in this world, where there's all this separation, there's all these different things going on, right? There's all these different identities, there's all these characters in a story. So listen to this closely. The all-performing wisdom has the same characteristics as the mirror-like wisdom, meaning that every single action that you take is just as it is in that moment. That there is no story to the movement of this hand. That there is no story to this deodorant. That this reality is storyless. W's in the chat for a storyless reality. We're here becoming Buddhists, all right? Buddhists of reality as it is. So, well, what I recommend for everyone, and what I recommend for anyone, is that you, if you're going to make this path a priority in your life, if this is what you feel is most important to you, so if you feel that ending suffering is the most important thing for you in your life, you have to learn how to stop and step back from the story about your life. So stop the story, which is pretty easy. It's like we take a cold shower, or we splash some water on our face, or we go something like that. So you stop the story. But then you have to step back from this apparent reality of the story. And how do you do that? Well, you can literally stand up and step back after splashing water on your head. But also you may need to take time to go outside of the boundary lines of your personal identity and what you imagine your life to be. So there's a difference between dragging yourself to go for a walk and thinking about things and, you know, bringing your depression and your anxiety and the story of yourself with you. There's a difference between that and going for a walk and like abandoning your life. As if you were walking out the door and leaving your job and your money and your relationships and everything that you have about your life, all your possessions, and walking out the door as if you were completely abandoning all those things. Fully and completely. And it's a lot more accessible than you may think that it is to actually do that and to be in that way and to walk in that way. You know, so people get really hung up, no pun intended, on, you know, kind of trying to end their experience of being alive, right? But this is it's a perspective that's based on, you know, rejecting something, getting rid of something. You don't have to get rid of anything. You don't have to get something in particular. You just have to take the bag of rocks and attachments and stories and ideas about yourself and ideas about your life off. And yes, you will most likely go back and pick that bag up again and put it on your back. You will most likely do that again. But when you start to step back, splash some water on your face, stand up and step back, whoa! You start to see the impermanence and the temporariness of the carrying of this heavy burden of your story about yourself on your back. And when you learn through your experience that as much as you pick things up and hold on to them and identify with them, that they're also impermanent and changing, and it's something that you can put down, you're going to be much less stressed about carrying that pack with you, because you learn that you can take that pack off and that it's not complicated, it's not difficult. You don't need SSRI medication, you don't need therapies, maybe not, right? You don't need some complicated philosophy, you don't need to become a Buddhist, but that it's completely normal and possible to take this pack of your attachments and these stories about yourself off. And this live stream and these teachings are all about learning to do that and practicing that. It's not about becoming perfect. It's about realizing that there is a perfection that is already here, that has nothing to do with you, or stories about you, or stories about anything at all. So this is like the bedtime story of storylessness. This is like the thought of thoughtlessness. This is like the experience of no one experiencing anything at all. We have to drop idealism. If you're interested in Buddhism, if you're interested in meditation, if you're interested in community, you're already here. That's what this is now. I was a monk for 7 years. I've lived and practiced at Buddhist communities and sanghas all around the world. For years, for a long, long time. Continuously. For the better part of a decade. And I'm only 32. So the problem is not that you're struggling to find a sangha. The problem is that you're struggling to drop idealism and be where you already are. And when we don't know how to drop idealism and this constant complex thinking of what we want and how what we want should be, we don't know how to make use of what is already here. And that means that instead of being able to make concrete, simple, stable steps moving forward in the direction that we want to go forward, we're constantly standing on one step or one stone in this stream called our idealism, and we're wobbling back and forth. Why am I not going anywhere? Why can't I find what I'm looking for? Because you've already found what you're looking for, this idealism. And idealism doesn't work. There's no ideal person, there's no ideal community, there's no ideal experience. So because of that idealism, we're always criticizing, we're always critiquing, we're always holding up standards and values that don't make any sense. Make use of what is here and now and go from there. Be patient and be open to listening and exploring. Because until you go into the ring, until you go into the classroom, until you show up at the temple, you can't say anything. Until you know in any sense what I'm trying to convey or what I'm sharing, how can you ask me a question about it or make a judgment about it? And you have entirely no ability to determine that unless you can be open to experiencing this. So that idealism is kind of a scammer mentality. It's an American advertising programming kind of thing, where basically we want to be sold something. We want to be convinced by something. We want to be entrapped in a thicket of views. Here, you're welcome to have no view. Here, you're welcome to not believe anything that I say. Here, you're welcome to not think. There's no charge, there's no price to be here except for your authenticity and your sincerity. Now let's get some W's in the chat for that. W's in the chat, everybody. Okay, Brooks, Dr. Zah, Solrose, Convenient, Rothrick. Everybody who's here, let's get a W in the chat. If you don't put a W, you're a fake user. Jzen, Viduno, Ashton B. Okay, these are the real ones. And the fakers, don't put W's in the chat. Geo, Bard, Echo, Gumhook, Shakespeare, Claudia, Amchara. Seen and unseen beings. Heard and unheard sounds. Felt and unfelt experiences in the body. So instead of looking for constant stimulation, and I don't know if y'all have ever been there, but going on TikTok, eating mac and cheese, getting a coffee, getting our energy drinks, playing our video games, all this stuff, right? That's a part of life. And for most of you, that maybe that won't change too much. But this is about the stimulation of not being anyone, not doing anything, not experiencing anything. And so this not doing anything unties our knots, actually. And in that space of not really doing anything and not really being anyone and not really trying to get something or trying to avoid something, we develop a relationship, really, with the essence of our mind. That is not a story. In the same way that your brain, the physical structure of your brain, is not thought-based, is not word-based, is not story-based in any way, just like your bones aren't story-based or thought-based, the essence of your mind is not based in thoughts. The essence of your mind is not based in this body. Okay? So, a tree. There is no such thing as a tree. Put it in the chat, everybody. Write it down. We're doing our mantras now. We're getting into our own spiritual lifestyle. Put your mantra in the chat. There is no such thing as a tree. And when you share this video with your grandma in Michigan, you can put that message in the sharing with the video. Mom, Grandma, there's no such thing as a tree, period. And I'm a Buddhist now. Now, what does that mean? I'm not seeing comments here. Let's get these comments going. Let's get these likes flowing. Let's rise up. Okay. Now, what does that mean? That there's no such thing as a tree? What is a tree without sunlight? What is a tree without soil? This is a real question I'm actually asking everybody who's here. What is a tree without sunlight and without soil? Someone said a dead tree, and that's nonsense. That's not a good answer. No tree. There's no such thing as a tree without sunlight and without soil and everything else, right? So a tree does not exist separate from everything. There cannot be a tree. There cannot be something that exists independently. It's impossible. There is no such thing as a thing that exists independently. Everything exists together with everything else. Everything cancels everything else out. So we can use the word everything. And the essence of our mind is also like this, which is why the essence of our mind does not depend on and does not rely on thoughts, stories, narratives of separation, because we do not exist separately. There is no such thing as separation. So instead of speculating about that, instead of trying to understand that conceptually, use the word everything. Just use the word everything. And you can incorporate that. Remember we talked about our standing up and stepping back process? So look, we're doing our homework, we're involved, we're stretched. Hey! Stand up, step back, everything. Use the word everything. Blast out. This is a blast out method. Blast out the involvements. Blast out the thoughts. Blast out the knots of your anxiety, your depression. You're getting into complicated thoughts about yourself that's making you feel stressed and worried and angry and getting into conflict with people. Stand up, step back, everything. Now, there's a good teaching in this as well, because you may learn some phrases or you may learn some words that you can use and share with your friends, right? But the point here is not in the words. So the everything here is just the seed for the tree of awareness without thoughts to go out. All the way out. Beyond the body, beyond the mind, beyond words or not words. Beyond the beyond itself. And I could see how you think, well, come on, what's really going on here? Mirror-like wisdom. It is as it is. It purifies, it clears out all sufferings, all complicated thoughts, all good and bad, all right and wrong. Now, let's sing a song. Breathing in, breathing out. Reprogramming. Breathing in, breathing out. I am blooming as a flower. Reprogramming. I am fresh as the dew. I am solid Get your energy up. Here we go. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. I am water reflecting what is real, what is true. Happiness Jutsu. And I feel there is space deep inside of me. I am free, I am free, I am free. Could you hear me? Could you see me? It's called a happiness jutsu. That's called Buddhist reprogramming. Okay? That's better than the stuff you'll get at school. That's better than the stuff you'll get at university. That's the juice. It may not make sense. It may not be something you fully understand, but we don't have to fully understand things to feel them. And we don't want to be the grunchy kid at school that says, I'm not going to play that game because I'm too nonchalant. This is going beyond nonchalantness, okay? Let's get some comments in the chat. I am beyond nonchalant. Okay? Because a lot of people want to criticize nonchalantness, but they don't know how to go beyond nonchalantness. All right? W's in the chat. Tap on that screen if you're watching on TikTok. Leave those likes if you're watching on YouTube. Like, share, subscribe, and we're really going beyond today. Okay? Go beyond the beyond itself. Echo is beyond nonchalant. Viduno is beyond nonchalant. Tabernacle is beyond nonchalant. W mindful. Dr. Zaz beyond nonchalant. Jason. So we allow that space to become strong, the space in our mind. And you're not zoning out, and you're not trying to make that space be there, but it's kind of like the space overflows. And with your mindful breathing, so you want to stay connected to your presence, your attention in breathing, you're allowing that sense of spaciousness, of openness to overflow the whole body and mind. To overflow and to purify your stress and your involvements in the world and in your mind. Do we have any questions? If you believe in it, it's vacuity. If you don't identify with it, it's not vacuity. The same basically goes for anything. If you do it with attachment, problem. If you do it without attachment, no problem. And when we start to operate in that way, there will be less things that we do that cause suffering, because things that cause suffering are based in an attachment, a tension, a stress. And we will do more things that bring relief. And then we'll have more access to doing more and more good things. But whatever you do, if you do good or if you do bad, do it without attachment. Don't attach to the action and don't attach to the effects, but you can be aware. Wow, celebrations. Vid Uno sent 10 Monk Life Meditation gift memberships. So welcome Ashton B, Freddie B, Yash, Nicole, Mr. Neo, Efault, Peter, Thomas something, and Lego King. Welcome to the Buddha Club. Welcome to the Buddha Club, everybody. Yeah, very generous. Thank you. All right, now listen up, listen closely. The first 5 Vijnanas. So, what are Vijnanas? Vijnanas is consciousness dependent respectively upon the 5 sense organs. All right? So, what this means is that your identity, your feeling of self, goes into the eyes and into the seeing. So now you're thinking about what you see. Your identity, your self experience, goes into the ears and into the things that are heard. Now you're thinking about what's heard, etc., and into the feelings in the body, right? So if your body felt very pleasurable right now, you would have a consciousness, because you were attached to that pleasurable feeling, you would have a pleasurable self-consciousness. If your body was in a lot of pain right now and you attach to that, you would have a very painful self-consciousness, okay? So the first 5 kinds of consciousness and the Alaya Vijnana. Okay, so the Alaya Vijnana is the storage or universal consciousness. How you can think about this is that basically there's like this store of karma, or there's this store of cause and effect, not just from this life and from your experience, but like everybody's experience in the world. There's all of this cause and effect going on because people are making intentional actions, and those actions have effects. And those actions don't just disappear into nothing. There's a kind of this continuous cause and effect based on our choices and actions, right? And so deep in our own mind, we have this store consciousness, which means it's not really you, but it's this store consciousness in that body and mind, or this body and mind. So the kind of people that you grew up around, how you were influenced by the culture, how you were influenced in the environment, planted all these seeds. And then according to certain conditions in the environment that happen now, those seeds will be watered and something will happen. So for example, this body and mind may have an experience of the environment, like someone says something or someone acts a certain way, and then I feel angry or I feel confused. Whereas another body and mind, let's say my friend, would be in the same environment, hear the same thing or feel the same thing, and they would feel peaceful, or they would start thinking about almonds. And so these seeds are all there, and a big problem that a lot of people get into is that they identify with these aspects of experience as themselves. But actually, there's no self in that. It's just cause and effect, right? These thoughts are not your thoughts. W's in the chat, everybody. What branch of Buddhism is this? Let me show you. From the mountain to the earth, be mindful without self. When you will do good. And when you will not do, bad. Whatever you do, don't be attached to what you do. Whatever you don't do, don't be attached to what you don't do. The Buddha mind is not in the realm of speculation. Reality is not composed of conceptual thoughts. Replace conceptual thoughts with generosity. Replace conceptual thoughts with mindful breathing. Replace conceptual thoughts with a sincere dedication to be a good person. Visit your local Buddhist temple to see what they're doing there. Okay. So, these different kinds of consciousness, or these different kinds of self-based identity, so the self-based identity on identifying with what you see, and the self-based identity of identifying with what you hear, and the self-based identity of identifying with how your body feels, these different kinds of consciousnesses that appear, and this storage consciousness, okay, this underlying storage in the earth and deep in our mind and deep in the minds and in the environment even of all of this cause and effect, all of these seeds that have been planted are transmuted to prajna wisdom in the Buddha stage. So when we, let's say, hypothetically, when we stand up and we step back and we open out widely together with everything, we are in the process of transmuting all of these complicated thoughts and habit energies and seeds that have been planted within us to wisdom. Okay? So these kinds of consciousness are transmuted to wisdom in the Buddha stage, while the klishtamano vijnana, the soiled mind consciousness or self-consciousness, so maybe it's like self-reflective thinking, kind of even more contraction over the self, rather than a self that's just flowing. And the mano vijnana, the thinking consciousness, so wrapping around our thoughts and thinking, are transmuted in the bodhisattva stage. So the soiled mind, or the negative self-fixated mind, and the constant thinking mind are transmuted, are transformed when we put to the side our own benefit and we start to attempt to benefit others. This means kind of that when we have access to enlightenment, but it's a good message anyway, even if you don't have that access to enlightenment. And if Carrie Lightyear, thank you for your subscription as well. If you are looking to visit a Buddhist temple near you, I definitely recommend that. It's a good way to just go out and explore. Go to Google Maps and search for Buddhist temple near me, or just search for Buddhist temple. And I'm sure you'll probably find some places, and might even be a great place nearby that you're not aware of. So Google Maps is very, very good. Okay, can everybody still hear me? Can you hear me on TikTok? Can you hear me on YouTube? All right. Now, that's much better, huh? Okay, because it's a little bit low. So listen, these so-called transmutations of our consciousnesses, right? Our consciousness are only changes of appellations, a name or title, but they're not a change of substance. This is very, very important to understand. And this is why Buddhism is not self-improvement. This is why enlightenment is not about self-improvement. Your essence, the essence of the mind, is pure and clear and clean completely. Just like the essence of non-separation between a tree and the environment is already finished, already complete. So your mind is, the nature of your mind is also like that, okay? But when we go through this spiritual process, the appearances change. So we go from the suffering, depression, anxiety, and different states of existence, realms of existence, like a weak, depressed, anxious person, to an empowered, kind, generous person. But you have to understand, the essence does not change in this. The essential nature of the mind does not change. So the Buddha talked about 3 marks of reality: impermanence, no self, and unsatisfactoriness. So regardless of if you're the happiest, coolest, strongest, best person in the world, no thing can give satisfaction. No liquid can quench this never-ending thirst. Okay? No self. There's no separation. We go back to the tree. There's no separation in reality. There's no separation between you and everything else. There's no separation between you're such a good person, you're so wonderful, you're so incredible, you're so wise, you're so spiritual, and the negative of that. Just like there's no up without down, there's no good without bad. So if you think that you are good without bad, you're missing the point. If you think that you're bad without good, you're missing the point. If you can see that good and bad are empty, changing, impermanent, expressions of cause and effect and nothing else, then you can get the point, all right? And finally, impermanence or temporariness. So there's no aspect of anything that's permanent. There's no aspect of your ego. There's no aspect of yourself. There's no aspect of your experiences. There's no aspect of your environment that's permanent. And this mind reality field is very important to understand, because we think, oh, I'm a person, I'm a human being in Taiwan or in America or in Australia, and that's the earth. And that's the universe. The essence of the mind, there's no separation of anything together with everything. There's no such thing. Just like there's no such thing as a hippopotamus that's better than a squirrel. There's no such thing as that. So when we practice like this, when we show up to this kind of space, when we listen to these kind of talks, and pick your poison, there's plenty of poison out there. I like Dharma poison. I would recommend Dharma poison. We orient ourselves to the mirror-like quality of reality in the here and now. The unblemished, untarnished, undebatable, mirror-like quality of reality as it is. Now, when you are able to free yourself entirely from attachment to sense objects, at that time, these so-called transmutations take place. Then you will forever abide in the repeatedly arising dragon samadhi. Stand up, step back, and free yourself entirely from attachment to sense objects. Maybe only get a moment of it, but if you can get a power dragon samadhi, then that's what you want to get. Because this is taking it the full way. This is going beyond surface level experience. This is being free from attachment to pleasure. This is being free from attachment to pain. This is being free from attachment to beauty. This is being free from attachment to ugliness. This is being free from attachment to wealth and attachment to poverty. This is the dragon samadhi. Now, it's a little bit performative, but when you put that pizzazz into it, you shake up, you shake out that involvement and that tendency to hold on to all those sense objects. And if you have a cup of water, if you have a bottle of water, you can also, and just pour that water out. And so this is something, you're not just doing this for yourself, but you're also sharing this, sharing the blessing of this ending, sharing the blessing of this dragon samadhi. I'm not attached to sense objects. At that moment, viscerally. And it's very nice with water, because when you do like this, it can be kind of brief, a brief experience of that, dragon samadhi. But when you have a bottle of water and you kind of, just pour it and you share that out, you leak out that unaffiliation with involvement. You leak out that mindfulness and detachment. You can really go into the flow of that. It's very powerful. It's very hopeful. All right, let's get some W's in the chat, everybody. W's in the chat. Don't forget that I'm technically, in a certain way, an alien from Zepton 5, and I'm here to sell wonderful skincare lotion. So, if that's interesting, please do share. If you think your grandma in Tucson would be interested in some skincare lotion from Zepton 5, please put W's in the chat, okay? And don't forget to leave a like. Yeah, so thank you, Britt. You just reminded me what I got off track of, okay? So Britt says, is it true in saying it's so simple that the mind makes it seem hard in being and the embodiment of emptiness? Because we're approaching a lot of this from a wrong view. So really we're approaching this really in the same way that I want a cheeseburger, or that I want to smoke opium in the forest with a bunch of Hindu sages or something like that, right? In the same way that I want that, I want to be enlightened, right? I want to be a person that's enlightened, or I want to be a person that gets to enjoy something. And so we often approach the spiritual path and these teachings in a similar way. We think that these teachings are coming from that kind of place. But the place that these teachings are coming from is a place where there's no such thing as a self. There's no such thing as a someone to get anything. There's no such thing as a someone to be good. There's no such thing as a someone to be bad. And this is the place of wisdom and compassion. Transcendental wisdom and compassion. And that's why standing up, we've got to go to school, we're getting bullied at school, people are being mean to us, we're having a negative experience, we're making mistakes, we're anxious, we're depressed, nothing's working out, we're gaining weight, we're not losing weight. We stand up step back, widen out. Beyond the beyond itself, widen out beyond widening out. Finish the finishing itself. The reason that that works is because there's nobody there. There's nobody here, there's nobody there. But this isn't a teaching of nihilism, this isn't a teaching of rejectionism. Going back to how that pure actions share the same quality as that mirror-like wisdom, right? The purity of reality as it is, that all of our actions are pure actions. But when the ego isn't opened to or oriented towards that pure actions, okay, we get lost, or we seem to get lost. We seem to get entangled in our suffering. So instead of getting stuck in that, step back, widen out, and go beyond intellectual reasoning. Go beyond, but I've got to go to school tomorrow. You may have to go to school tomorrow, but that is itself enlightenment. So you don't have to worry about it. So, when you are able to free yourself entirely from attachment to sense objects, at the time these so-called transmutations take place, you will forever abide in the repeatedly arising dragon samadhi. And so this is an element of our practice that's very important, because when we feel that relief, when we feel the positive side of following the path, we also have to not get attached to that. You see? So it's not getting attached to the pleasure of it. It's not getting attached to the freedom that it gives us from our suffering or our problem. It's a real standing up and stepping back. And it's performative in some sense because the nature of a self-identity is performative. So we're breaking through that with that. I've got to see, do I have a water bottle? I've got one. I'm going to show you all this technique because this can really work. Okay, we're going to have to hop outside for this one. I think this is going to be a YouTube exclusive. So you TikTokers, if you want to see this special method, you're going to have to hop over to YouTube. Okay. So here. Are we connected? Can everybody see and hear? Connection stable. Can you see? Can you hear? Okay. So this may seem a little bit grand and all that, but it's actually very ordinary and just something you can try when you get caught up. So we're standing up. We got a water ball in our hand. Stand up, step back. Use the word everything. Let the ego flow out with the water. Relax tension in the body and the mind. Everything. Use the word everything. Okay, that was that was wonderful. So don't be shy to try it sometime. Yeah, I think that that's kind of a confused teaching, because really there is no ego. There is no self. That's a better teaching. Um, so we'll say this. When you are able to free yourself entirely from attachment to sense objects, at the time these so-called transmutations take place, you will forever abide in the repeatedly arising dragon samadhi, naga samadhi. Upon hearing this, the monk Chi Tung realized suddenly the prajna of his essence of mind and submitted the following stanza to the patriarch. Intrinsically, the three bodies are within our essence of mind. When our mind is enlightened, the four prajnas will appear therein. When bodies and prajnas absolutely identify with each other, we shall be able to respond in accordance with their temperaments and dispositions to the appeals of all beings, no matter what forms they may assume, internally and or externally. To start by seeking for the three bodies and the four wisdoms is to take an entirely wrong course. For being inherent in us, they are to be realized and not sought. Try to grasp or confine them is to go against their intrinsic nature. Through you, sir, I am now able to grasp the profundity of their meaning, and henceforth I may discard forever their false and arbitrary names. Okay, any questions? Questions, comments, sharing experience. You can share your experience of this live talk and teaching. You can let me know what your grandma said when you sent her this video. Okay. So we can wrap up with so make sure to leave a like, make sure to subscribe, make sure to leave a comment down below. Stay tuned because there's all kinds of exciting and interesting updates coming up on the Monk Life Meditation YouTube channel, and you won't want to miss out. See you next time. Be blessed, be happy, be peaceful, and be free from all suffering. Namo Guan Shi Yin Pu Sa. 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 Amitofo. Thank you. Bye-bye.